So, Hare Krishna, dear Matajis. Before we start the class, let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of ISKCON Mangaluru, Sri Sri Radha Govindji. Sri Sri Radha Govindji ki Jai. So, we are supposed to start from Shloka 40, sorry. Okay, we're supposed to start from here. Okay, finished 39. This part we finished. Now from 40. Okay, so Anshul Mataji, would you please start reciting the shloka, Mataji? Shloka number 40. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Mataji, I'll do that.
Yeah.
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिरस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते एतैर्विमोहय हयते श ज्ञानमावृत्येषा
Yeah.
ज्ञानम् आवृत्य देहिनम्.
Hari Bol. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Okay, so now where does this lust actually sit? This is what is being told in this shloka. Okay, so where does this karma or lust sit? Where does it sit? They're saying the senses, the mind, and the intelligence. So, what does it do sitting over there, this lust? It covers our knowledge. Okay, where is our knowledge generally? Knowledge is in our mind intelligence, right? So, nicely, the lust, it sits there and it covers our knowledge. So, what does it mean when lust covers our knowledge? So, what is it that it covers? See, actually, we are soul, right? Our natural swarupa is we are soul. We are servant of the Lord, right? Our swarupa is to serve the Lord. But this lust makes us forget that. It tells us that you are this body. You should enjoy with this body. Okay, so it gives that illusion that it makes us forget that we are soul, and it tells that you are this body. Okay, so you should enjoy with this body. Okay, so these kind of people, who think that they're this body and not the soul, such people in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that people who think I am this body, and people related to my body, for example, like my family members, my land of birth, are worshipable. So they connect everything to their this thing. My body, my relatives, my family members, my money, my land of birth. So they think that is the only thing. They are worshipable. And for example, if these people, such people, they go to a place of pilgrimage, what do? They just bathe in water. So they actually, why do we go to a pilgrimage? Actually, we should go to a pilgrimage to meet people like sadhus, saints. So we actually go to the pilgrimage to listen about God from these saints and sadhus. Okay, so that is the fulfillment. Why do we go to pilgrimage? Because all the sadhus, they stay in all these pilgrimage spiritual places, right? So to listen from them about God, we go there. Okay, Prabhupada says, yeah, definitely. If you go to a pilgrimage, you go and dip in the water, there is definitely some result. But that is not the purpose of pilgrimage. Okay, pilgrimage, you have to go because there'll be many sadhus, saints there. From them, you have to learn about God. What can you do? I mean, like what devotional service you can do, how you can develop that relationship with God. So, all that you will know when you listen to the sadhus or the saints. Okay, so here, so what do they in Srimad Bhagavatam? What do they call such kind of people? They're compared to ass or cow. Okay, see the ass or cow also they don't have consciousness, right? They're animals. They don't have consciousness. What do? They also go into the water and they bathe and they just come out, right? What do they know? They just go. They will go into the water. They will sit there for some time and they will come out. Okay, so we are behaving like that. The people who think that this body, they such people. They go to the pilgrimage. They take a dip in the Ganga or whatever water, sacred waters, and they come out without listening to the saints. Okay, such people are called asses or cows because they are behaving like people who have no consciousness, like the cows and ass. Cows and ass also they can't go to sadhus. They don't listen, right? What do? They go into the water, dip, and they come out. Okay, so we saw how lust covers this knowledge in the shloka. Okay, and where does it sit? It sits in the senses, mind, and intelligence. And because of which, what happens to our knowledge? It is covered and it makes us think we are this body. And it says, you are the enjoyer, you enjoy everything. Okay, that's what they're saying. See, through them, lust covers the real knowledge. What is the real knowledge? It hides that we are the soul, we are the servitors of the Lord. That real knowledge it covers. Okay, and bewilders him how? By saying that he is this body and everything in this material world is for your enjoyment. Now go and enjoy, it says. Okay, now 41, Jayalakshmi Mataji, would you please like to try reading the shloka, Mataji? Jayalakshmi Mataji? Mataji, are you able to hear me? Anshul Mataji, are you?
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Ah, Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, okay.
Yeah, can you please read the shloka, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, yes Mataji, Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
please try, Mataji. Yeah.
Tasmat Tasmatam Indriyanyadyav
Indriyani, ana.
Indriyanyadyav Niyamya Paradarshava Papmanam Prajahihenam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam.
Hari bol. That was so nice, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you.
See, you picked up so fast, Mataji.
You are inspiring me, Mataji. I always tell you. That's right.
Oh no, Mataji. I feel so happy when you're reading so fast and so clearly. Very nice, Mataji. Very nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, that is lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self. Okay, so what is Krishna telling Arjuna? So this lust destroys what they are saying in the shloka in the last line, Gnana Vijnana Nashanam. Okay, because of this lust, what happens? Gnana Vijnana Nashanam. Gnana and Vijnana is destroyed. Okay, so what it means is it destroys. Gnana means what? Knowledge. Vijnana means self realization. So that is why Krishna is telling in the beginning itself, you control your senses, you curb this lust. Curb means stop. Stop this lust. in the initial stage itself. Otherwise, it will lead you to sin. So it will destroy your gnana and karma. Gnana and Vijnana. So what do you mean by Vijnana here? Vijnana and Gnana. So Gnana means what? Knowledge. What knowledge? So we already learned, right, in the second chapter, in Gnana or Sankhya, the difference between the soul and the body, right? So now we know the difference between the soul and the body. Okay, so that is Gnana. So Gnana means to know we are not this body, we are the soul. So we know the difference between what is body, what is soul. That is Gnana. Vijnana means to know what is the relationship between Atma and Paramatma. Okay, so that is Vijnana. That is self-realization. When you come to know your relationship with God, the relation between, what is the relationship between God and you, Atma and Paramatma. So lust destroys this Gnana and Vijnana, because of which we forget we are soul, Gnana gone. Vijnana means we forget our eternal relationship with Krishna. And what do we think? It makes us fall in Moha Maya. So we think I am this body. So everything in this material world is meant for my sense gratification. And we say that I only want that. I want to enjoy that. I want this. This should be mine only. This is for my enjoyment only. Like that. Okay. So that is the thing. See, when we have lust, it destroys our gnana and vijnana. We forget we are soul and we forget our eternal relationship with Krishna. And we what does because of this moha, lust, moha and maya, we think we are this body, we are the enjoyer. We forget ourselves, the truth about ourselves, because of this covering of lust. Okay. So this yesterday we saw, right, the same thing in pictorial view it is given. Okay. So now 39, the same thing yesterday we read. See, characteristics of lust. So lust is the symbol of ignorance. So initially lust means what? It is in Rajoguna. When lust is not satisfied, what happens? It turns into anger, which is in Tamoguna. Right? But when we engage our senses in Krishna consciousness, we can elevate from Rajoguna, that lust, to Sattva-guna. Okay? So satisfying, yesterday one example was given, right? Satisfying lust is like adding fuel to fire. We think we are extinguishing it, but when we add petrol to fire, what happens? It becomes more big and big, right? Okay, so how to stop it? How can we satisfy? Because lust is never satisfied. The more you give, the more it will want, the more you will get attached. So how should you stop it? Stop feeding it and let it die. See, the fire, if you don't add petrol, what happens? Slowly after some time, it will by itself, it gets stopped, right? So like that, lust also, you should not see, for instance, you have a feeling that I want to go to the restaurant and eat, and you may think that, oh, if I go and eat there, my lust will be over, it will be satisfied, so it will be done. Okay, but that is not the case. So now, just give me a second, I'll just be back, Mataji. I'm so sorry, there was someone at the door. Yeah. So how do we stop it? We stop feeding it and let it die. So we should not go to this restaurant now. And you may be thinking that, okay, if I eat now, my lust will go off. Now I can forget about this. But no, again, after 2, 3 days, again you will see an ad. Oh, there's a new restaurant opening. Again, you will feel like going. So this lust is never satisfied. The more you go, the more it will increase, the more you will get attached. So, what is Krishna saying? What is the best thing to do? How to stop lust? Stop feeding it. Don't feed it. Now stop going to that restaurant. Say from today I will not go. I mean, I don't say all of a sudden, it is very difficult. Maybe like suppose monthly you're going 4 times, reduce it to 2 times, or reduce it to 3 times, and then three to two, two to one, and one to nothing, like that. So that's why he's saying stop feeding it and let it die. Okay, because the mind is so stubborn, the more you feed, the more it will make you think about that. But once you stop it now, the mind will also understand. Okay, now if I tell her also to go to the restaurant now, because she has made up her mind, she will not go. So it will not encourage those thoughts. If you stop feeding it, it will go. That thought itself will go from the mind. The mind will understand now. Okay, now she is decided. Now she won't go to the restaurant. It's no use for me to give that thought also. So like that, stop. If you stop feeding it, it will die. That desire, that lust will go off automatically. But if you feed it more and more, it will become more and more. You will become more and more attached. So that's what we saw. 39. So 40 also just now we saw, right? No. Okay. Okay, 40 we've seen, right? What are the sitting places of lust we saw? The senses, the mind, intelligence, right? How do we how do we get lust generally? Through the five senses. So when we see through the senses, what happens? It is stored in the mind. So mind is the center of all the activities of the senses. Whatever we see or hear or talk or touch or smell, everything is stored in the mind, right? So the mind contains everything. Oh, that smell, yeah, that what I saw, that the what I heard, that music. So everything is stored in the mind. Now the intelligence is, it becomes lusty now. So intelligence is what it has to decide whether it is good or bad. Okay, intelligence is the place where that correct decision has to happen. Now, what happens to the intelligence now? It becomes lusty. Okay, when it becomes lusty, what happens? It influences the soul. Okay, now the soul, it does not think that it is spiritual. It thinks that it is this body now. Because of false ego and that pride, he thinks that he is this body. He is not a soul. He thinks that though he is soul, he thinks he's the body and he is the enjoyer. See, I only want that. I want to enjoy everything in this material world is for me. Okay, so the soul gets that false ego. Okay, that I am the enjoyer, I am the master, because he thinks himself to be on the bodily platform. Okay, so 41 shloka is not given here. I'll try to open it here so that you Matajis can read. Yeah, 41 here. This is from Veda base. I opened Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. Anshul Mataji, please read Mataji, 41st shloka.
Sure, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, 40.
तस्मात् तस्मात् त्वम् इन्द्रियाण्यादो नियम नियम नियम्य भरतर्षभा पापमानं प्रजाहि येनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्.
Hari Bol, wonderful. Both of you are reading super, very nice. Thank you so much, Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this symbol of lust. Oh, this we read, right?
Yes, Mataji, this was done, and this shloka was read by Jaya Mataji, I guess.
Yeah, that's what Jnana Vijnana we just discussed, right? What am I doing?
It was done. I was thinking their Mataji was to read it. That's why. Mataji.
Oh no, Mataji, no, I'm so sorry because I didn't see this. Yeah, so that's what how to overcome lust that we saw, right? We have to totally stop the desire itself and let it die. Okay. The main thing is like we have to how do we let it die? We think by not going to the restaurant is like it's very difficult for us to control initially. So what we have to do, we have to engage our senses in such a way, mind and senses, in the service of Krishna. See, when we want to divert our mind and senses from one thing to another, we need to have a higher taste. Only then we can shift our mind to that. So initially, what we have to do engage our senses, mind in the service of Krishna by starting a devotional service. How we can engage our eyes in seeing the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. Okay, by with the nose we can smell the tulsi or the flowers offered to the Lord at the feet of the Lord. Okay, and tongue we can have prasadam and we can talk about Krishna. Okay, and hearing we can hear the leelas of Krishna, the chanting we can start chanting. So slowly we can do like this. When we do all these devotional service activities, we start getting purified. We slowly after slowly we through the philosophy, through shastras, we understand that we are this soul, we are not this body, we are not the enjoyers, but we are servant of the Lord. Okay, then our thought process will change. See, we got this human body. We're supposed to do tapasya, not sense gratification. You will understand that the more I do sense gratification, the more I will get attached to this material world. If I get attached to this material world, again I have to come back. You will understand the only way I can get liberated is by practicing Krishna consciousness. That is by doing devotional service. Okay, so that is what is being said here. Okay, so now let's go to shloka number 42. Yeah, now Anshul Mataji, now you can read this Mataji.
Okay. इन्द्रियाणि पराण्याहुर् इन्द्रियेभ्यः परमं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिर्यो बुद्धेः परस्तु
Yeah, Parastusa. It is param mana Mataji. You read it as sorry paramam manaha. Okay, it is param manaha.
परम मनः.
Yeah, param manaha. Yeah, fine. Thank you, Mataji. Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, the working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. So, what are they trying to say is how what is the hierarchy first they are telling, like which is great, and which is the highest finally. Okay, so first body means what? The dull matter. So what is this material world made up of? Everything is dull matter. Like for example, your cell phone is dull matter, your whatever, the fan, or I'll show you the picture. See, they'll give you an example here. See, you've seen in this picture, this is dull matter. Anything that you see in this material world. See, any object of sense gratification, right? Whatever you like, maybe your skateboard or your books or your money or property, like that, something. Okay, that is dull matter. Okay. So first, that dull matter is the lowest of all. Okay, so it has no consciousness. It is just dull matter. That's all. Above this dull matter, are the senses, right? Through the senses only, through your eyes, nose, mouth, ears only, you can see anything, see all the dull matter, right? Yeah, so that's why above the dull matter are the senses. Above the senses is what? The mind. So when the senses see, where is all this stored? When the senses see or nose smells or the skin, the touch is there, you hear. So where is all this stored? In the mind. So higher than the senses is the mind, and the mind is sometimes disturbed. So the mind is they say, right, in the Bhagavad Gita, is like a friend or an enemy, right? Sometimes it gives us bad thoughts, the mind. Sometimes it gives us good thoughts. So who governs this mind? It's the intelligence. Intelligence governs the mind, like you should do like this because this is good. But sometimes, it says, because we are covered by lust, what happens? The intelligence becomes degraded, right? So then the mind becomes degraded. So like that. So it is it decides. I mean, like through the intelligence, the mind it becomes bad or good. It takes good or bad decisions. So that is why above the mind is the intelligence. So above the intelligence is what? The soul, because it is even more intelligent. The soul is the highest. So it is highest even than the um, um, intelligence. So all this senses, mind, intelligence are material. They are actually what? Mind, intelligence, and ego are what? They are the subtle body. We have two bodies, right? One is the subtle body and the gross body. The gross body is the one we can see outside, right? With the eyes, the hands, the legs, the body, everything you can see. But what you can't see is what? The subtle body, which is inside this gross body. That is mind intelligence. Okay, so you can understand now what you can see outside the body senses are the lowest. What the subtle body which you can't see, mind intelligence, is even more higher. Though it is material, but subtle body we can't see, mind intelligence. And above that is the soul, which is not material, it is spiritual. So the highest of all is the soul. So that you understand, okay? Now this is what? 42, right? So now, how is it that a non-devotee, because of this lust, how is it that he falls down? See, first what happens? A non-devotee is like he gets attracted to the dull matter. Okay, so I'll show you this picture and come back. Okay, so he gets attracted to this. Okay, yeah, he gets attracted to this dull matter. So, like for example, a cell phone or something. How? Through what? Through the senses. Now the senses may see the cell phone. Okay, and that is stored in the mind. Now the mind will be constantly thinking about that. Okay, now it will have in the mind, I want to buy that cell phone. I want to buy that cell phone. Now what does the intelligence say? Now the intelligence, because he's become lusty, it is like obviously he will want it, right? The intelligence has to decide now. Okay, so because of which the intelligence, because it's a lusty desire, right? Okay, which is actually not needed for him. He may be a small boy or something. Okay, that the intelligence pulls him down. Or else one more example I can give. See, like for example, now it is Ekadasi, right? The mind thinks, okay, now today it's Ekadasi. Oh, but still so many Ekadasis I've been doing. Let me not eat grain prasad and just this one Ekadasi. What will happen? That's what the mind is thinking. Now the intelligence will say, no. I mean, like if it's a good thing, actually it is. Now we are talking about lust for non-devotees, but I'm just trying to tell you how the intelligence plays a vital role. Now the intelligence will tell, no, no, no. Ekadasi, Krishna loves Ekadasi. See, now you should not, eat grain prasadam on Ekadasi. It's Krishna's favorite day. How can you do it? So you should fast only one day, na? Monthly twice. That's all, na? The intelligence will convince and he will do Ekadasi. But if he becomes lusty, non-devotee, for example, he will think, oh, what will happen? So many times I did. One time if I don't do, what will happen? And then he eats grain prasadam. Right? If he's a neophyte or a starting devotee, just he started, okay, he will think like that. So that is how all these, the senses, mind, intelligence, soul, they play a vital role. Like this, it is how, like this influences the soul. The soul thinks then that he's the body, and he thinks, he does not think he's the spirit soul. Because of all this Maya, the intelligence becomes lost. Okay, it's not able to decide properly, and then it thinks it's his body, and I'm this, all the things that are there in the material world are for my enjoyment, it thinks. Okay, and then we get immersed in sense gratification. So this is how lust leads to destruction. Okay, so that is the main thing. Let's go back. Okay, the senses are different outlets for the activities of lust reserved within the body. Correct, right? Through the senses only we can see dull matter, like for example, cell phone or whatever we like, rasgulla, gulab jamun, money, whatever. Therefore, the senses are superior to the body, that is dull matter, as a whole, quite in Krishna consciousness. So, in Krishna consciousness, the soul makes direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bodily action is functioning of the senses. So bodily inaction is stopping the senses. But since the mind is active, then even though the body may be silent at rest, the mind will act as it does during dreaming. So what they're saying, see, outwardly, the bodily action is functioning of the senses. Okay, so when the senses are working, seeing the like bodily action, how to say? See, for instance, you may not be working now. Okay, you're not doing anything with your senses. So all your bodily inaction is stopping the senses. You're not doing anything. But what are they saying here? Even if you're physically not doing anything, but your mind is still active. You may appear like you're sitting in a chair. That does not mean you're not active. Your mind is still active. Okay, even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act. That's what, see, when you're sleeping in the night, your whole body is at rest, but the mind is still working. Okay, it is still dreaming, and they're just trying to show the superiority, okay, over the senses. Even though the senses may be sleeping, the body and the senses may be sleeping, the mind is still working, even in the night time. That's why we get dreams. So they're just trying to say above the mind, see that above the senses is the mind. So it is working even though physically we are not working, it is mentally still working. That's why above the senses is the mind. And next what they're saying, above the intelligence is the soul proper. So next is what? Above the mind is what? Determination of the intelligence, like the discriminating. The intelligence is, it discriminates which is good, which is bad. So that is why intelligence is more higher than the mind, and above the intelligence is the soul. So above this intelligence is the soul, which is spiritual in nature, obviously, right? That is the highest. So if the soul is directly engaged with the supreme, naturally all other subordinates, namely the intelligence, mind, and senses, will automatically be engaged. So that's what they're saying. See, the highest is soul, they're telling. But if the soul is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, automatically it means soul is inside the body, right? So if soul decides that I want to do devotional service, then automatically the body is meant for that, right? The soul is what? Consciousness. So whatever it thinks through the body, it does. So now if the soul is directly engaged in the Supreme, it will do all these activities. How the soul, because the soul is the highest, it's the highest order giver. So if the soul says the intelligence, you do this, it has to do. The body has to do, right? The body, all these are subtle body and gross body, right? So the soul, which is spiritual, is telling this body to do this. So automatically the intelligence, the mind, the senses are automatically engaged in devotional service. Okay, so therefore, directly understanding the constitutional position of the soul with the intelligence and engaging the mind in Krishna consciousness is the solution to the whole problem. So, what we have to do, the solution they're saying is you have to engage your mind, senses, intelligence, all these in the service of Krishna. Instead of using them in material things, you use them in spiritual things. That's what they're saying. Because if you leave them empty, I mean, like you just don't do anything, your mind, they say, right, idle brain is a devil's workshop or something. Okay, so that's why you have to, instead of engaging your senses and mind and intelligence, everything in material things, which will create more attachment, more lust, more desires, so you engage them in devotional service. Automatically you're diverting your mind from material to spiritual. Okay, so a neophyte spiritualist is generally advised to keep aloof from the objects of the senses. See, a person who has a neophyte in bhakti, he's advised to keep aloof from all these sense objects, all the material objects are there. We have many objects, right, where we get attracted to. So we try to say, tell that person, like, try to, as far as possible, don't try to go to movies, don't try to go to restaurants, don't watch the serials, don't watch the program, too much of news or politics or whatever he's attracted to in the material world. Okay, so we tell them that all this is a waste of time. As it is in our brain, we have so much of garbage. By watching all these nonsense, if you're really learning something, that is worthwhile watching. Right. If you watch a movie, what is it that you get from nowadays? If you watch a movie or if you see politics, what is it that you get? What is it that you get if you read a newspaper in the morning? All nonsense only. This politician fought, this rape happened, this accident happened, this mother-in-law and daughter-in-law fought. All these, as it is, we have kgs and kgs of problems in our mind, and in spite of that, the newspaper will come and it will give you one more kgs and kgs of problems. So that's why they said you should, as far as possible, avoid all these things. Okay, but aside from that, what you should do, one has to strengthen the mind. You keep all these material things aside, and side by side, what you should do, you have to strengthen the mind by intelligence, by engaging it in Krishna consciousness, right? By doing devotional service. That is what, like, Krishna was telling Arjuna, right? You should perform your duties per your varna and ashrama. Simultaneously, you should do bhakti. Okay, bhakti, if you do, what will happen? Slowly you'll get purified. All your anarthas will go out. Lobha, krodha, kama, mada, matsarya, all these will go out. You will slowly start getting purified. Okay, so even though the senses are very strong, are like serpents with broken fangs. So the senses are actually very powerful. So, you see, again, now if you see, if you want to go to a restaurant, it's very powerful. You can just go back to your old ways. Okay, so they're saying that's why, besides doing your duties, you have to practice Krishna consciousness. Okay, there's every chance that you can go back to your old bad ways. Okay, so that's why you have to be in the association of devotees. They will bring you back. Even if you fall down, they will bring you back. Right? See, that is what is given here. See, if we are all now on the bodily platform. So from bodily platform, you see the topmost, that is spiritual platform. We have to come to that platform. So bodily platform, and the essential platform is the same. So bodily platform and senses means what? We are trying to search for sense through the senses and through this body. We are trying to search for enjoyment, sense gratification. Okay, so we see the dull matter. So this is basically senses and bodily is like the animal platform. Human beings who behave like animals. What do animals do? They eat, sleep, mate, and defend. If human beings also do the same thing like eating, mating, sleeping, defending, what big difference is there between animals and us? Practically no difference. In fact, there is difference in the sense that at least we human beings have that higher consciousness we have, which we can use it for a higher purpose. The animals literally, really, they don't have that consciousness. They don't understand that they are this body, their soul. They don't know anything, right? But if human beings who have so much higher consciousness behave like animals, what is the use of their being human beings, getting this human janma? Okay, so those who are on this bodily platform thinking that, oh, I will enjoy more, I will earn more, I will get comforts, I will nicely sleep on a soft bed, I will nicely eat so many items. That is bodily platform. Okay, so they are bodily and sensual. Now, above the bodily platform is the mental platform, mind, where mind comes into picture. Okay, so that is the mental platform. Mind is the place where all the impressions are stored. So we saw, right, mental platform means even when the body is not active, the mind is active. Okay, so mind is always active. Even when you're sleeping, your body is at rest, you're sitting, doing nothing, your mind is always working. Right, that is the mental platform. And all your impressions are stored over there. Next, above this is the intellectual platform, that is the intelligence. So the intelligence decides, right, whether what the mind is doing, is it really right or not. Okay, so that is the intellectual platform. So above the intellectual platform is the spiritual platform, that is the soul. So what is the nature of the soul? It is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means full of knowledge, Ananda means full of bliss. Okay, so we have to transgress. Now you understand where you are, whether you're on the bodily platform, sensual platform, mental platform, intellectual or spiritual platform. But we have to reach that spiritual platform, right? So that is what they're trying to say here. So 42, that's what we were reading, right? So what are the sitting places of lust? Different places. We saw all this again, same thing they're repeating. The only solution is to control these lust. How we can control? We can divert the mind, the senses and intelligence to, I mean, like they should be engaged in Krishna conscious activities. Like here we can see, right, how they are they're engaging in Krishna service. One lady, she's doing the puja. One Prabhuji and Prabhuji, they're eating, honoring prasadam. One Mataji, she's cooking bhoga. And one other Prabhuji is cleaning the temple premises. One Prabhuji is cleaning the dishes. So like that, he's engaging the senses and the mind in thinking. Is used in thinking of Krishna, and the senses are used in working for Krishna. So all the hands or legs or the mouth, everything are being engaged. Okay, so caution. So even though the soul is the master of intelligence, mind and senses, unless it is strengthened by Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down. Okay, so even though we saw, right, the soul is the highest, it is even the master of intelligence. Okay, but master of intelligence, mind and senses, everything. But unless it is strengthened by Krishna simultaneously, we have to practice Krishna consciousness. We should not artificially try to control our senses or mind by suppressing our desires. That will not be possible. That's why they're saying simultaneously you should not suppress. You should divert the senses to what? To engage in Krishna consciousness. If you don't engage them in Krishna consciousness, there is every chance that you will fall down. Why? Because of the agitated mind, disturbed mind. Because when lust is there, you can't make proper decisions. Your mind is disturbed. Because yesterday we saw that, right? From lust, how anger comes, and finally we fall into the material world pool. We saw, right? Because of illusion, we fall down. So that is why, see, that is all because of the agitated mind. So to keep the mind steady, we have to practice Krishna consciousness. Okay, doing devotional service. That's what they're telling here. Okay. So for today, this is the last shloka of chapter 3. With this, successfully, we'll finish chapter 3. So, Jaya Mataji, would you please like to try reading Mataji 43?
Hare Krishna Mataji, sure.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Evam buddhe param buddhva samstapyatmana atmanam jehi shatrum mahabaho kamarubam durasadam.
Hari Bol, Mataji, you didn't even need the 2:30 class. You're reading so nicely.
Pray because of you only, Mataji.
Oh, Mataji, don't say it is because of me, Mataji. It is your sincere endeavor, your effort, your this thing interest that you are able to read. That focus is there, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you.
So, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Okay, so here Krishna is finally saying, how can we finally overcome the material senses, mind, and intelligence? By engaging those senses and mind and that intelligence in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so in the earlier shloka, actually, yeah. So actually, how is it that we can control our senses? We said, right, through devotional service. So how through devotional service? First, what? That's why, in ISKCON we have these rules and regulations. What we should follow, what we should not follow. So that's why we follow in ISKCON we follow these 4 regulative principles. What is that? No meat eating. That includes egg also, fish, seafood, everything we should not eat. Then no intoxication. So no intoxication means no cigarettes, no drugs, no tobacco, no gutka, no drinking, all that, Matajis. So no illicit sex, no gambling. Nowadays, if you see gambling, you see so much in every YouTube ad between that rummy will come. Okay, people want to make easy money without any hard work. Okay, so that is one thing that is becoming famous. See, all these are said in Srimad Bhagavatam many years ago, which we are seeing practically live now. Right? From that, we can understand. If we know Srimad Bhagavatam, we know what and how Kali Yuga will look like. Okay, so that's why they say no gambling. Gambling destroys your whole family life. And I've seen many people, real life incidents, where they think actually there is a situation where their daughter, she has, they have to perform a heart operation for her because she has a hole in her heart. And for that operation, they need 15 lakhs. But somehow the wife and husband, they gather the money, but the husband, without the wife knowing all that money he takes, and he puts it in this gambling, online gambling. without telling the wife. And the wife is waiting for the money. She says, "You go and bring the money, it is here." And she's waiting that it is a day of operation. And she's asking, "You go and bring the money." They both have earned this money for quite some time and they've stored this money. And this person, he went and put all that 15 lakhs, and besides, he took 10 lakh of what do you say? He borrowed it from his friend, 10 lakhs. The total 25 lakhs, he put it in all this gambling and he lost everything. Imagine 15 lakhs throughout their life they earned just to cure their little one, their little daughter. And they lost that first person, he lost it in gambling. The mother was so heartbroken. Now, how am I supposed to do? What is this nonsense? See, you have to do hard work. This is not the way that you earn money. That person says, "No, no, no, I did it not intentionally, not for sense gratification. I thought, like, if I take 15, 25 lakhs, if I get double that amount, it will be good for our daughter only. Now, later also, we can take nice care." That's what he gives. So people, they're looking for shortcuts to earn money. So that's why this will destroy family life. That's why they say no gambling. And practically also, if you see gambling, nobody will, hardly one person will be there. Maybe, I don't even know that. I've heard many cases where everybody loses their money and their peace of life is gone, their family gets destroyed, they fight and everything, all because of this gambling. Okay, so by this, by these four principles, we are controlling our senses. That is the first step. Okay, these four rules and regulations we have to follow. Next, we have to follow the ABCD rule. What is ABCD rule? A means what? Association of devotees is a must. Okay, they are the people who will bring us back to Krishna if we are falling down. Okay, association is very important because outside world is full of duality. It is full of hypocrisy and quarrel, politics, everything. Okay, so if you are in the association of devotees, you will I mean, like, the devotees, they have good qualities, right? Okay, when you are in sattva guna, they are in sattva guna, so obviously they will transfer sattva guna. See, if you go to a drunkard, he will transfer you into a drunkard. So like that, if you associate with people who are in sattva guna, you also become sattva guna. But outside people in the material world, they're full of rajoguna and tamoguna. So if you associate with them, you'll become like that. That's why Prabhupada established these satsangs throughout the world. Wherever you go, there is ISKCON. He knew that this satsang is so much important. That's why association of devotees, wherever you are, whichever place, online or offline, associate with devotees. That's all. Make it a point to associate. Okay. So association is very important. So B, read books of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, this disciple said, "Prabhupada, now after you leave the body, who will guide us?" So Prabhupada said, "I will never die. I will stay on through my books." Okay, so important are Prabhupada's books. The essence of everything, Krishna consciousness, is there in the books. So please read Prabhupada's books. So books are very important. Okay. Next, C, chanting. Very, very important. Minimum 16 rounds of chanting has to be done. Next, D, diet. We have to do a sattvic diet, and that too, that's what: milk, vegetables, no non-veg, nothing, all that, onion, garlic, tea, coffee. Okay, gutka, all those cigarettes, drugs, nothing you should have. Okay, the sattvic diet you should have grains, milk, sugar, like that, vegetables, fruits, like that. You offer it to the Lord and you take it as prasadam. So this you have to follow. So by following this, we are giving our senses, mind, intelligence the correct knowledge, the correct intelligence we are giving it, the correct objects we are giving. Okay, so that's why first the buddhi has to be strong. Okay, then everything is automatically controlled. If the intelligence is strong, otherwise the mind is always disturbed. So if you, to make the mind steady, the intelligence plays a vital role. So when you practice Krishna consciousness, so everything, the intelligence will become strong, because of which the mind is stable and the senses will be regulated. Okay. See, even according to science also, those who live in Tamoguna and Rajoguna, their lifespan will be reduced. Okay. See, if you drink too much alcohol, cigarette, sometime or the other, he will get cancer. Okay. If they have to live for 100 years because of that cigarette smoking, their lifespan is reduced to 80 years. Okay. Even in Rajoguna also, if you try to do too much sense gratification, to get too much sense gratification, what you do, you work hard, very hard. Ugra karma, like working 2 or 3 times more than normal. You like now, suppose you were supposed to work from 9 to 5, you work from 9 to 9, double hours shift you work. Why? Because you're greedy, you want more money. Because if you work in the night shift, you get double pay. So for that money, they're greedy. So they work for more. That is called Ugra karma. Okay, so if you use your body more than required, the body gets destroyed, lifespan is reduced. Okay, so Rajoguna and Tamoguna destroys our body, but those who are in Satvaguna, they stay for long, they get less diseases. So Rajo and Tamoguna give rise to more diseases. So in Ayurveda, it is said, as soon as you're born, your lifespan is fixed. How many times you exhale, inhale is fixed. See, per your birth, your inhalation and exhalation is fixed. Like 1 crore times you have to breathe and breathe out. So that is the count. Not one more, one less. You will die after that. That's all. Okay. But in Rajoguna, what happens? They work hard, right? Right? And they put more effort. They run here and there. So the lungs work more. So the breathing is fast. So they're breathing more in a less amount of time. Right? That normal breath is not there because they're running here and there. They're working more hard. They're breathing more. They're breathing more. So which means the lifespan is being reduced fast because of their fast breathing. Okay. But now we may think that, okay, now I'm healthy. For us to practically see, now we think, now I'm fine. But the difference will come after 60 and 70, we can see the difference. Okay. So if we live in Sattva Guna, it is advantages both on the material platform and the spiritual platform. Okay. So this is the lifestyle that given in our Shastras. Okay. So that is good. If you are in Sattva Guna, it is good for us on the material plane and the spiritual platform. Okay. Now in 43 we were discussing. Now we see how we can strengthen our buddhi. Okay. How we can strengthen our buddhi is by engaging the intelligence, the senses, the mind in Krishna consciousness. Okay. So if you can, by engaging your senses in devotional service and Krishna consciousness, you can overcome lust. You can you can progress very fast on your path to bhakti. See, if lust is not there, you become pure, right? You only have love. Love for Krishna you have. So you can progress very fast on your path to bhakti. Okay, so actually, literally speaking, we do not have the power to control our senses. Only Krishna has the power to control our senses. Okay, so practically, how to control our senses? So engage the same senses in the service of Krishna. Then our senses will be controlled. So then we can escape from the influence of Rajo and Tamoguna. Okay, why we can escape from Raja and Tamaguna? Because when we are doing devotional service, it means we are in Shuddha Sattva. At least we are not in Rajoguna, we are at least in Sattva Guna, right? Okay, so when we are in Shuddha Sattva means We are on the platform of a spiritual platform. We are not on the material platform. These gunas, three gunas are on the material platform. Sattva, Rajo guna and Tamo guna are material. But when we are doing devotional service, we are on the, any activity that we do for the Lord is in Shuddha Sattva. So Shuddha Sattva means 100% mode of goodness. So we are on that spiritual platform. Nothing to do with the material platform. Though it may appear that we are in the material platform, but when we are doing devotional service, it is understood that we are in that Shuddha Sattva, like we are unaffected by these three gunas. If at least we are not affected by Tamo and Rajo, we are in the Sattva platform. If not, at least Shuddha Sattva. Okay, so the thing is like how we can conquer lust. The main thing is we have to engage our senses in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so if you engage your senses in Krishna consciousness, what will happen? That lust will die. It will slowly come down. Okay, that is what we want, right? That lust should be transformed to love for Krishna. Okay, so Hare Krishna. So today we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I
Hare
can hear
Krishna.
you, right? Yeah. Today we'll stop here, Mataji, and I'll try to share the attendance thing.
Okay,
And
Mataji.
please let me know if you have any doubts, Mataji.
No, it's clear, Mataji.
Yeah, fine. Thank you so much, Mataji.